Saudis are hiding the real location of Mount Sinai, Bible researchers claim. This is today's article on Sputnik News. Now, at the end of this video, I will tell you the experience that a friend of mine had with her daughter as they were climbing up Mount Sinai. It's a truly fascinating experience with spiritual warfare. Now, let's go into this article. The biblical Mount Sinai is traditionally placed in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Some researchers, however, say it could be located over 100 miles eastward on the Arabian Peninsula across the Gulf of Aqaba. Now, I have to tell you, though, before we go any further, that this monastery here, which was built in the year 527 to 565 AD, on the site beneath Mount Sinai, where, according to Scripture, God spoke to the prophet Moses from the burning bush. The burning bush is located inside the courtyard of the monastery of St. Catherine here. Now, also, before we go into the article, there was a covenant or a testament given by the prophet, the Islamic prophet Muhammad himself. It's a document which is a charter or writ alleging that the Islamic prophet Muhammad granted protection and other privileges to the followers of Jesus the Nazarene, Jesus Christ that is, given to the Christian monks of St. Catherine's Monastery here in Mount Sinai. It's sealed with an imprint representing Muhammad's hand, and said that tradition has it, history has it, that according to the monks' tradition of this monastery, it's a male monastery, Muhammad frequented the monastery and had great relations and discussions with the Sinai fathers here. That's just part of it. No, that's the establishment of the history of the fact that, yes, this is the original Sinai and the burning bush of Moses. Otherwise, of course, Muhammad, 600 years after Jesus Christ, would not have given an agreement and testament of protection. Now let's go back to the article. Ryan Morrow, the national security analyst at the nonprofit anti-extremist Clarion Project and the Doubting Thomas Research Foundation, have released the results of a 2-year joint research search for the holy site in the documentary titled Finding the Mountain of Moses, the Real Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia. According to the new investigation, the actual place where Moses received the Ten Commandments is in Saudi Arabia, and the kingdom is well aware of this fact, they say. The documentary claims, based on several Christian, Jewish, and Islamic sources, that the biblical Mount Sinai is actually located in northwest Saudi Arabia. Ryan Morrow alleges that the Saudi government has been trying to conceal its location from the rest of the world using fences, police, and a threat of force. He's interviewed locals and reached out to a person connected with jihadists to back up his claims. Quote, "When I was in the jihad world, we all knew the Mount Sinai was in Saudi Arabia," end quote, said an unidentified man who hid his face and used a voice-changing filter. Quote, "The people on the outside, even most Muslims, had no idea that it was there because we, fighters, didn't want anyone to know about it," end quote. And it goes on. He says, "We all knew that the Saudi government hid it and protected it with security, and we all agreed with it. We believe that if a site, even a holy site, is visited by people and used for idolatry, it should be destroyed. But our hiding it according to the Islamic law is what saved it, so you can see it today and appreciate it," end quote. Morrow claims key evidence is in jeopardy due to the $500 billion futuristic megacity project, which is to be built in the coming years. Quote, "The Saudis are constructing a super city that is planned to be 33 times the size of New York. If all of us don't take action, Saudi construction of the area may destroy key evidence and prevent excavation for the foreseeable future," end quote. He has launched a website to try and convince Saudi Arabia to preserve the site. The analyst believes that Jabal Makla, one of the tallest mountains in the Arabian Peninsula, and a peak on the mountain range of Jabal al-Laws, is the actual place where Moses received the Ten Commandments. He invokes Moses' account from the book of Exodus and cites the blackened top of the mountain, which could have been burnt by the Lord descended on Mount Sinai in fire, as per the book of Exodus. However, he admits that these could simply be natural volcanic rocks. He also alleged to have found Alam, the oasis where Moses and the Israelites found water after crossing the Red Sea en route to Mount Sinai, and what could have been several other pieces of evidence, like a rock split by Moses, or the remains of ancient altar where the Israelites worshipped a golden calf while Moses was on top of the mountain. There's also a rock at the area of the monastery of Mount Sinai, St. Catherine's, that is a rock that is worn by water, and it has 12 notches in it. And the monks there say that it was the streaming of the 12 streams of water for each tribe of the tribes of Israel. Now, quote, think of how many things line up with the biblical story right here at this mountain, and quote, this is what Morrow concludes, defying a popular theory that the biblical Mount Sinai is located in the Sinai Peninsula. The Saudi Arabian authorities so far have not commented on the documentary. Okay, so that's that article, and going back now, I told you I would give you a recount of what spiritual experiences one of my friends had while visiting Mount Sinai here at the St. Catherine's Monastery, which is at the base of the actual Mount Sinai. Of course, the Prophet Muhammad gave his protection decree in order to protect the monastery here, and the site of the burning bush, and the site of the source of water that split into 12, one for each tribe of Israel, because he knew this was the actual Mount Sinai, and the burning bush, which is still there, by the way. Now, the burning in the light, of course, is not actual fire, but it's the fire that we find coming at the tomb of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Holy Sepulchre, every Easter, on Easter Saturday. And it's still there. It's a light that does not burn. It's a holy fire that is cold plasma that scientists have tested and say that it's not to be found on Earth, that this plasma is found only in the dark areas of the universe. And it's not explainable how it's found on Earth. But the thing is that it does not, you can't feel heat. It's not physical fire. You see it light, but it doesn't burn you. It's the temperature of your flesh, which is not regular fire. And it turns into regular fire that we have on Earth after about 2 or 3 minutes. It will burn you. So that's the heat of the holy fire. Now, that could have been what Moses had experienced, the holy fire, and he was even wearing it. People said they couldn't look at him because he was lit with the holy light, and that's why since then the Hebrew men had to cover their heads with a talit, a type of a headscarf, since the time of Moses, because Moses had to put a scarf over his head because people were blinded by his light, God's light on him. But anyway, going back to the experience that my friend had, I have not been to Mount Sinai. It's a long pilgrimage, because most times people have to go to the Holy Land, and they take a trip to Mount Sinai, which is like half a day away, but it's a grueling but worthwhile trip and pilgrimage, obviously. She had gone with her daughter. They were climbing from the base up to the top of Mount Sinai, which is takes quite a number of hours. And from the base of the mountain all the way to the top of the mountain, the daughter was telling my friend, "Mom, what is that goat doing next to me? He's been following me since the base of the mountain as we're going up." And the mother told the daughter, the daughter was about 20 years old. And the mother told the daughter, well, don't give it any thought, don't bother it, and just don't pay attention to it. And they kept on climbing up, and then as they went there, they got to the top, and they prayed, and then they started descending the mountain, coming down, and the daughter said to the mother, "There's that goat again, Mom. It's right beside me. What's it doing all the time beside me? And look at it, it's got terrible green, angry-looking eyes and everything." So the mother said to her again, don't pay any attention to it, forget about it, don't look at it, just watch where you're going. And they got down to the base of the mountain at the area of the monastery, and the mother told the daughter, there was never any goat near you. There was never any goat going up, and there was never any goat coming down. That must have been a demonic entity. So, there's a lot of experiences that people have when they go to these blessed places. And you do have, of course, angelic help, assistance. You see tremendous changes in people with strong faith after they've come back from the Holy Land. You also see people that have had spiritual battles there, like this girl had. Obviously, the demonic forces try and take away the young generation away from God, a life in God, a life in Christ. And obviously, this is what this entity was trying to do to this young woman. So it was never there. So that's just one thing I wanted to remember to leave you with, so that you can have a benefit from that. So I'll leave a link below for you from that, from this article on Sputnik. So who knows, obviously Muhammad would not have given a protective decree to a monastery unless there was something there to be protected. And he kept on going back for pilgrimages there himself as well. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.